Hi, welcome to Glow's Country Kitchen, and I'm Glow. Well, today I decided to make a rump roast in my crock pot, and I'm going to do it very, very easy this morning, and I just thought I'd show you what I do. It takes maybe at the most 10 minutes to get going, and when you come home, you've got your home smelling wonderful and almost your whole meal prepared for you for dinner. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I did is I had this rump roast in my freezer. And I had gotten it for $4.99 a pound, and it's about 3 pounds. And so I defrosted it overnight, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to salt and pepper all the sides of it, and I'm going to also put on some meat tenderizer. So the first thing I do before I start is I take one of my forks that I use for meat, and this roast actually is slightly still frozen, if you can believe that. And I'm just going to prick it. And by doing this, it's going to help get that meat tenderizer down in there as it starts to cook to tenderize the roast even more. But doing this in the crock pot, it'll be really nice and tender anyway. But I don't know about you, but I don't like my roast tough at all. So I go to quite a bit of effort just to make sure I get everything so it's nice and tender.
No toughness.
There's some nice marbling in this though for a rump roast. So, and that also helps tenderize. So the next thing, first of all, I'm going to wash my hands. I always have a sink full of warm, sudsy water. It really helps for cleanup and also like for your hands and stuff as well. So let me dry off my hands. Now, quite often when I'm cooking roasts, I brown them. But today I'm not going to do that simply because I don't have the time. But this is going to turn out just fine in the crock pot. It's got a nice fat cap on it, and it will brown some in the crock pot. But I'm also going to be using a lot of nice flavorings in here that it's going to give that umami flavor that browning does as well. So I'm going to take my salt and I'm going to salt, pepper, and then here's my meat tenderizer, and it's unseasoned, and you're just going to put that on. Now we're going to turn it.
Just enough to coat each side.
Yep. Let's do this side as well. Let's just do the salt next. Get it on all the sides. And then I'm going to also rub this in. I love the smell of salt and pepper. There's something about it.
Especially on a roast.
Mm-hmm. See what I'm doing? I'm just rubbing that in.
Yes.
So that's all there is to that. I'm going to go ahead and set it right down in here in my crock pot. Now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this plate. I'm going to rinse it off and then just set it in this warm, sudsy water. There we go. So the next step, this is one of my go-tos for when I'm just don't have a lot of time, but I want wonderful flavor in a roast. So the next thing I'm going to do is I took one onion and I sliced it up in half moons, about like that. And I'm going to nestle some of that down around in here. And also I have 2 cloves of garlic that I smashed. I'm going to put those on top. They're not large cloves, as you can tell. I'm going to nestle some of these onions down in here. And then some I'm going to reserve to put on top of the roast. So the next thing I have is a can of cream of mushroom soup. So I'm going to put that over the roast. And it's okay if it slides down. It's going to slide down as it's starting to cook anyway. And this cream of mushroom soup just adds a lot of nice flavor. Now in this roast, you could put carrots, you could put celery, whatever. Like I said, I'm keeping this very simple today. And I do have some mushrooms that I'm going to saute when I get home to go with this. But I'm not putting in this because I want them to be real nice and not all cooked out into the roast, because this is going to be plenty right here. Now what I'm doing is I'm rinsing out my can with water. There's about a half a can of water in here right now. I just try not to waste anything that's in my can. Plus, I need water in this to help this. So I'm just going to nestle that down around inside. Now I've got onion soup mix. And I'm just going to sprinkle that over the top. There we go. We like onion, so we're not afraid of all of that by any means. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to put in some teriyaki sauce. And this adds a wonderful umami flavor. And that's probably 1.5 tablespoons. Next thing is kitchen bouquet. And I would say maybe 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon. Not much. And then the next thing is oyster sauce. Oyster sauce, since I was introduced to this, I use this a lot. It adds so much umami flavor to your dishes. And since I'm not browning this morning, these last 3 things that I put in here are going to take care of that.
How much was that, Miss Wolf?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably about a teaspoon, 1.5 teaspoons at the most.
Okay.
Okay, and then ground mustard. And I just lightly sprinkle that over the top and add some great flavor to your roast. And since I put a cream soup in here, I'm putting a little nutmeg, because nutmeg pairs really well with cream soups. And like just a few dashes, not a lot. And let's see, do I have everything? Oh, my bay leaf. And I always put that, excuse me, on top of my roast, just like that. Then I'm going to take the rest of these onions and just sprinkle them around. So it's just 1 medium onion. That's all you need. I think I'm going to put another 1/2 can of water in the bottom. And with this type of roast, there are so many seasonings you could put on this. One time we're going to do an Italian one, and it's delicious. So, and you can do a lot with these leftovers. You can make like a stew with it. You can make sandwiches with it, French dip. There's just so much you can do. So there. Wasn't that easy? Now we're going to, we already have it plugged in. Richard plugged this in for me. And I'm going to set this at 8 hours. And at the end of the 8 hours, it's going to go to warm. And so when I come home, my roast is going to be at the right temperature. And all I have to do is cook. I think we're going to do mashed potatoes for dinner to pair with this. And also some carrots that I'll steam and put some seasonings on. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you back this evening. Hi, well, it's evening. I just got home from work. Let's take a look at this pot roast and see how it is. I can tell you, the house smells awesome. Let me put this lid over here and get that out of the way. Oh yeah, I can tell it's very tender. Look at that.
It is. It smells good.
Yeah. Just take a look at this. Oh yeah, look at this gravy, you guys.
Yep.
I'm going to thicken it up a little with a little bit of cornstarch, but that is going to be delicious.
Looks good.
Yeah, here's a piece that fell off. That roast. Look at that, how tender that is.
It is.
Yep. So I'm going to let this cool for probably about 10 minutes, uncovered, and then we'll slice it together and try it. And in the meantime, I'm going to do up this gravy. I'm going to turn this up on high right now. And I'll put the lid on it. And in the meantime, I'm going to be mixing up, in fact, I'll show you, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch with about the same amount of water. And I'll make a slurry, and then we'll pour that into here, and it'll thicken that gravy up. So anyway, I'll be back in just a few minutes. You guys, I thought I'd show you how I do this. I made the slurry, has the cornstarch and the water in it, and I'll show you the consistency as I'm pouring it. See?
Yep.
Like milk. That's the best way I can describe it. And you just slowly pour that in, and it'll thicken it up. And you can do this also with flour and water too, if you wanted to do that instead of the cornstarch and water. That's all there is to it. And then this will just thicken right up here. So I'm going to put the lid on it and let it warm up a little bit more. And in the meantime, it'll be thickening up, and you can see it's already starting to boil there.
Yes.
Yep. So it'll be about 5 minutes, and that'll be about the time that the roast will be ready to be cut. And I made some mushrooms to go with this for dinner, and mashed potatoes, and also carrots. So I'll put some links in this video as well for those dishes also. So anyway, I'll be back in about 5 minutes, and we'll see what this looks like and tastes. Okay, now we're going to slice this roast. We're going to see what it looks like. Oh yeah, look at that, you guys. Just so tender. It goes through there just like butter.
Pretty tender.
Yeah. Look at that.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep, that is just delicious. Beautiful. And you always want to slice against your grain. If you notice here, this just pulled off. And see how you have those strings?
Yes.
When a roast is this tender, that's fine, really. But it's better to cut against the grain. So, in other words, I've cut against it here, if you can see. So, that's to help you with any cut of meat. It's more tender that way when you cut against the grain. But this roast is just falling apart, as you can tell. It's so delicious, I'm sure. So anyway, I'm going to, here, let's look at this gravy too. Yep, it's thickened up. Now, if you wanted it thicker than this, by all means, you just need to add more cornstarch to it. But I think this will be perfect for us.
And why did you use cornstarch instead of flour?
Well, when I'm doing it in a crock pot, I find that I prefer the cornstarch. One reason is flour. When I'm using flour for a gravy, I like to cook and brown my flour. And in a crock pot, I can't do that. I like to get rid of that flour taste. So, like if I was going to cook this on the stove, I could have done it with the flour, and I would have been able to cook that taste out and then added more of my broth to it as it was cooking. But I will do a video of that, and I have in the past as well. I actually think that in some cases when you use flour, especially like for a chicken gravy with the drippings, there's nothing better than using the flour to make your gravy for something like that. But each one has the reason to use it. Like for this cornstarch, by all means, that's why I used it in this, because I don't have to cook that out, that flavor. But anyway, I'll be back in just a little bit after I plate this up and we're going to taste. I just got to show this to you guys. Doesn't that look just delicious?
It looks good to me.
I did sample the roast, and I'm going to tell you, you don't even need to add any additional seasoning to this. If you follow that recipe like I told you this morning, you won't have to add anything to this. It is that good. So I wanted to show also look how tender that is. You don't even really need a knife.
No.
It just cuts through there like butter.
Turned out real good.
Mm-hmm. I'll try it. Oh my goodness. This is delicious, you guys. You can taste the onions and the garlic and the teriyaki and the little bit of the oyster sauce that I put in there, along with that kitchen bouquet and salt and pepper. Oh, this is delicious. Whoop. And these mushrooms, I sauteed these. Look at that. A little olive oil and butter, and I'll put a link down on the bottom for those. Super easy and goes so well with this. And these carrots I made tonight, they're with lemon pepper. Just delicious. And they're not mushy. They've got a slight bite to them. They're just delicious. I gotta have more of this roast. There's a small piece right here. Well, you guys, I wish you were here for dinner with us. I was gonna share with you too. I made these mashed potatoes tonight. And just a little tip. Always save your potato water. You can use this in so many different applications in cooking throughout the week. I'm probably going to make a soup with some of this roast if we have some left. I could use some of this. Or I could make a stew. There's just so many things you can do with potato water. You can even use it to make bread. So anyway, if you've enjoyed this and haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do. And give me a thumbs up and a comment. I hope you've enjoyed it. Talk to you later. Bye. Hi, I'm back. Gosh, I wish you guys had been here for dinner tonight. It was just delicious. By all means, try this recipe. But one thing, do not eat is the bay leaf. And I meant to tell you guys, when you've cooked your roast or your sauces and you're cooking with a bay leaf, please, please remember to take that out. Don't eat it. You don't want someone choking on it. They're kind of brittle and hard. Of course, this has been in there, but
well, if you
don't want that in your throat.
If you get that in your mouth, you'll know it.
Yeah, but it's definitely an essential for seasonings in roasts or soups or sauces, spaghetti, whatever. You definitely want bay leaves, but you don't want to eat them like this. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. And again, thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Talk to you later. Bye.